Picture a river that has forgotten how to move. The water sits behind concrete, flat and warm and still. Sediment piles up year after year. The fish that once filled these waters, silver-sided and surging upstream by the millions, are simply gone. Not because the river died, because humans put a wall across it and called it progress. This is what Pennsylvania's rivers looked like for most of the last 2 centuries. And this is what they're starting to look like again, alive, fast, cold, and crowded with fins. What has unfolded across Pennsylvania is one of the most dramatic ecological turnarounds in American history, and most people have no idea it's happening. Pennsylvania has now had 433 dams removed since 1912, ranking first in the United States, not just once, but year after year. The rivers are waking up, and the speed at which they're doing it will genuinely surprise you. Pennsylvania was one of the most heavily dammed states in the nation. Mill dams, railroad dams, water supply dams, hydropower dams, they went up across virtually every watershed. The state has more than 400 regulated dams, and 75 to 80% are low-head dams. Low-head dams look like gentle water features from the surface, a soft curtain of water spilling over a concrete lip. But hydraulics engineers have a different name for them: drowning machines. The recirculating current traps swimmers and kayakers and holds them under. Dozens of people have died at these structures across the state. But the damage that gets less attention is what they did to the rivers themselves. One restoration expert put it simply: "I like to compare a dam in a river to a blood clot in an artery of your body. You want your blood to flow freely and not be obstructed, and the same thing is true with rivers." Behind each dam, water slowed. Sediment accumulated, temperatures climbed, oxygen dropped, and fish that needed to move, species that had traveled these rivers for tens of thousands of years, simply ran out of road. The Susquehanna is Pennsylvania's great river spine, the longest river on the East Coast, draining into the Atlantic, running nearly 450 miles through the heart of the state. Millions of shad historically swam hundreds of miles up the Susquehanna, which once boasted the largest shad spawning area on the East Coast. But dams reduced the shad's ability to reach spawning habitat by 98%. That's not a population under pressure. That's a population on the edge of erasure. Atlantic sturgeon, short-nosed sturgeon, and Atlantic salmon are now listed as endangered. River herring and American eels are under review. These aren't obscure species. They fed entire civilizations. The annual shad harvest from the upper Susquehanna was once limited only by the availability of salt for preservation. Then the concrete went in, and the fish stopped coming. The single biggest milestone in Pennsylvania's dam removal history came on September 18, 2023. The removal of the Oakland Dam on the Susquehanna, more than 755 feet long and 16 feet high, marked the largest dam removal in state history. The structure had powered a nearby railroad depot and hospital, became obsolete around 1990, and spent the following decades crumbling, a 100-foot gouge opening in its middle, steel rebar lurking just below the surface. It took more than 20 years of negotiation, permitting, funding, and partnership to bring it down. Then, in a matter of weeks, it was gone. With Oakland Dam removed, more than 250 miles of stream habitat were reconnected, the distance from Philadelphia to Albany, opened in weeks after being closed for nearly a century. And the Oakland Dam is just one story. 27 dams were removed from Pennsylvania waterways in 2024 alone. In the Lehigh Valley, Wildlands Conservancy removed the city of Easton Lower Dam from Bushkill Creek. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission removed 2 dams on Spring Creek in Center County, reconnecting more than 10 miles of upstream habitat. Then came August 2025. Construction began to remove 2 obsolete low-head dams on the Raystown branch of the Juniata River near Bedford. Before removal, the picture was bleak. One engineer recalled finding trout right beside the dam, gasping because the water was so warm. The reservoir was stagnant. Kayakers reported getting stuck in the mud. The river had essentially stopped being a river. After the dams came out, more than 150 miles of streams could flow without barriers to Raystown Lake. In 2025, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission stocked nearly 1.2 million shad into the Juniata, betting they'll return in 3 to 5 years to spawn. The river's starting to make good on the bet. Here's what makes this story genuinely astonishing. Not just the scale of the work, but the speed of the response. Scientists have consistently been surprised by how quickly rivers recover once the concrete comes out. As one senior director of American River's Dam Removal Program put it, "It is truly remarkable how fast a river recovers once it is returned to its free-flowing state. In some instances, it only takes a few moments for fish to return upstream." That's not a figure of speech. The most vivid proof came from Little Sewickley Creek in Allegheny County after the removal of the Woodland Dam, which had been blocking fish since 1928. Within 2 months, spot-fin shiners and rainbow darters, absent before, appeared a half-mile upstream. A mile upstream, smallmouth bass were found. 15 months after removal, 9 new species had appeared a mile upstream, more than doubling the fish biodiversity present before the dam came out. 9 new species in 15 months in a creek blocked since the 1920s. The fish didn't need to be reintroduced. They didn't need to be coaxed. They were already there, downstream, waiting. The moment the wall came down, they moved. And it isn't just about fish. Freshwater mussels, one of the most endangered groups of animals in North America, rely on the small fish that return when dams come out. A single mussel can filter dozens of gallons of water a day. Bring back the fish, and you bring back the mussels. Bring back the mussels, and the water gets cleaner. The river restores itself in layers, each species unlocking the conditions for the next. In 2025, the United States removed 100 dams across 30 states, reconnecting more than 893 miles of river, the most upstream miles ever reconnected in a single year through dam removal. Pennsylvania led that charge. According to American Rivers, the 14 Pennsylvania removals in 2025 brought the state's total to 433, more than double any other state. American Rivers has a bold goal: remove 30 silver dams by 2050. With momentum clearly building, that mission feels more achievable than ever. But here, right now, Pennsylvania is the proof of concept. The Susquehanna, the Juniata, the Bushkill, Little Sewickley Creek. These aren't just waterways getting cleaner. They're ecosystems staging a comeback in real time in a state that decided over and over again to get out of the way. The concrete came down, the current came back, and the fish, after decades of waiting at the wall, finally found their way home. If this story moved you, hit subscribe, because the rivers are just getting started. And so are we.